Welcome to the third episode of Our Dog Show. Our Dog Show is a podcast for dog lovers and pet parents, where we discuss important issues of the day, training questions, and lighthearted pet stories. I'm your host, Victor Bomels. Our Dog Show is sponsored by Pet Playgrounds, makers of the safest and most reliable real dog fence system in the world.
Pet Playgrounds, because dogs need to run free. Is your dog an escape artist? Have your dogs chewed, climbed, or jumped over your existing fence? A Pet Playgrounds non-electric dog fence is the best way to let your dog run free. Our non-electric fence allows your dog to indulge in their natural instincts, such as running, jumping, and exploring without leaving your property. Our dog fence is nearly invisible to the naked eye from as little as 15 feet away. This system has been proven, tested, and developed nationwide over the last 5 years on virtually every type of dog and property. You can choose to have your Pet Playground system professionally installed by one of our certified installers or purchase a do-it-yourself kit. Our DIY non-electric dog fence kits require no digging. That's right, our fence requires no digging. If you have any questions, we offer immediate support with our toll-free number that's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Visit petplaygrounds.com and bring the safety and fun of the dog park home with you.
In a moment, we're going to have a question and answer segment with Stephanie and Fran of Positive Pros. Both are certified dog trainers promoting positive training and positive pet relationships. But first up today, we're going to talk about anti-chain legislation that has been cropping up in the United States since 2005. Today, there are 21 states that have passed anti-tethering laws. Tethering a dog under most state laws means that a dog owner has tied or chained their dog to a stationary object. While laws vary from state to state, many are getting tougher on this practice. Some states like DC have taken a very tough stance, allowing a judge to imprison an offender for up to 180 days and pay a fine of up to $250. In Maryland, the fine can be up to $1,000 and an offender can be locked up for as much as 90 days. While this might seem harsh to some, we at Our Dog Show think these 21 states are on the right track. Dogs are not meant to live on a leash. In the wild, canines live, eat, and sleep with their family. In the absence of other dogs, humans become their pack. A dog kept chained in one spot for hours, days, months, or years suffers immensely. There's psychological damage to an otherwise friendly and gentle dog. When kept continuously chained, many dogs become neurotic, unhappy, anxious, and even aggressive. Placing an animal on restraint to get fresh air can be acceptable if it's done for a short period of time. However, keeping an animal tethered for long periods is never acceptable. These 21 states have taken the first step to improving the life of dogs that otherwise would have lived on a leash, and we would like to applaud them. Now, we are lucky enough to have Stephanie Williams and Fran Zeladanis, our local dog experts who own Positive Partners. Their service area is the greater New Haven area and Western Connecticut shoreline. Both Stephanie and Fran are graduates from the Animal Behavior College and are nationally certified through the Certification Council for Professional Dog Trainers. They are also professional members of the Association of Professional Dog Trainers. Do you have a question for us? If you have a question that you'd like us to answer on the next episode of Our Dog Show, just tweet us at Our Dog Show or email us at podcast@ourdogshow.com. Now, without further ado, let's talk to Stephanie and Fran. Stephanie, Fran, thank you for coming on Our Dog Show. Before we get to some of the questions we have received from our viewers and listeners, can you please tell us a little bit about your training method?
Sure, and thank you for having us. The training method that we use is reward-based and relationship-based, meaning that we teach owners how to use the things that their dogs love most, food, toys, praise, anything fun, to get the behaviors that we want to see from them. So we're sitting here rewarding these guys because they're sitting nicely for us, just as an example of that. But it's not only food, it's also the other good things in life. So it's just a matter of teaching people how to pattern behaviors so the dog understands what the result will be and that the result will be something good for them. And then what happens is the owner becomes the source of all these good things, and the dog thinks, you're so much fun and I get all the good stuff from you, what do you want me to do? And that's what we like to go for. It's why we stay away from those other types of training techniques that you may have seen on TV that are maybe a little harsher, because those things don't teach dogs to have that kind of partnership attitude. Those things teach dogs to be just like, what do I do next? I don't know, and to be kind of worried. And we like our dogs to go, I'm happy to work with you no matter where we are or what are we doing. What would you like me to do next? So it's partnership, and that's what we're going for.
Excellent. Fran?
I don't have too much to add to that because she covered it very thoroughly, but it is relationship based, and that's really what we were looking for, is a positive relationship between you and your dog.
Excellent. What about dogs that are well behaved at home, but barely listen in public, especially when surrounded by other dogs?
That's a very common problem that we run into, especially with owners who have young dogs. We're just starting out and training them, and it's almost always a matter of teaching them, the dog, how to behave around things that distract them. And you have to do that in a systematic way. So going to a place where there are a lot of dogs and just getting out there and expecting your dog to behave, too high of a level. Or going to Petco, too high of a level. But if you start in your backyard and then you start to work in your neighborhood and you teach all those simple behaviors, if it's sit or walk on leash or pay attention to me, with low-level distractions and really good rewards, you can build up that distraction level gradually and get to where your dog will respond in those other higher level places. Sometimes too, it's a matter of practicing around a higher level distraction at a great big distance, so that they can learn how to cope with that. So let's use squirrels for an example. How many people have dogs who want to chase squirrels or birds or something like that? That's a big one. So you have to get to a place where you can get far away from those things, get your dog to do those nice calm behaviors, and then work on getting them closer little bits at a time. And so you're teaching them how to do the right thing around the distraction in a way that's appropriate for them, where they can be successful.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yes, it does, and it's very effective, but you have to remember it's a slow process. It won't happen overnight. So you're going to want to start in your living room, and then into your kitchen, and then the hallway, and then outside in the front yard, the backyard. Each of these areas is a different, distinct area for your dog, and they have to learn this. They call it generalization of the behavior. So they have to learn the behavior in all these different places before it becomes effective.
One last thing to add to that too is to not forget to reward a lot in the beginning, to be generous with the rewards, because the more that you reinforce, the more your dog is going to get it. And people tend to back off the rewards too quickly and see the behaviors break down. So that's where our guidance comes into play and is a really big help, is that we can show you how to do that in a way that's appropriate and not too quick, but also not over rewarding.
Perfect. Stephanie, Fran, what are your recommendations when the owner is faced with serious aggression problems?
This is a great question. It's one we get. We do get calls from people who are facing just those sorts of issues, and those need to be addressed by a high-level specialist, what's called a veterinary behaviorist. So this is a veterinarian who's gone the extra mile to get that behaviorist certification. They have their PhD, they specialize in those types of behaviors. They're also able to prescribe medications where appropriate. There are not that many in the country. What is it? Something like a couple of hundred in the country. So you have to be careful, because some people will label themselves behaviorists and they are not. So this is where we want people to call us and say, hey, I'm having this serious issue, whether it's biting or whatever might be going on, so we can refer them to exactly the right person. We have a wonderful veterinary behaviorist we refer to based out of Killingworth. And we can certainly do that. But that's important. When you're dealing with those types of problems, you do not want to make the mistake of being paired with the wrong person who's not experienced enough or would lead you down the wrong path.
So it's always a good idea to call a trainer, such as ourselves, to come out and do an initial assessment. And we'll be able to tell you whether or not this is true aggression or if it's a behavior that can be retrained. If it's true aggression, we will make a wonderful referral, and we will also be able to work with that veterinarian behaviorist to carry out her program, whatever's prescribed.
Here's another question that seems to pop up over and over again in our Twitter feed. The viewer asks, Victor, I just rescued an older dog that I thought was almost housebroken, but he has accidents from time to time. How can I potty train an older dog?
Well, the first thing you want to do is take your dog to a veterinarian and get a full workup. And by full workup, we mean full blood panel, urinary tract, and general health screening to make sure there isn't an underlying medical issue causing these accidents. Once you're for sure that your dog is healthy, you're going to want to implement a housebreaking program, which is pretty much going to look like it did when your dog was a puppy.
So, safe confinement in a crate management is a key piece of that. And a lot of people are worried about crate training, like they feel bad about it. But if you make it a really nice, comfortable spot for your dog to be and make it a really positive experience, it's an invaluable tool for helping make sure that they learn how to hold it, how to hold their bladder, so that you can then get them outside to the appropriate spot where they can go. And it's good to pick one spot. Take them out on leash and go, this is where your potty is, reward them for going there, and then after that, play with them or take them for a walk, so that way they understand that I get my business done, I get to go do the fun stuff, okay? And then it's determining a schedule and gradually increasing the intervals of time that they have to hold it so that they learn how to do that. And then from there, you can scale back the crate and the management part of it. And so we would design a whole protocol for people to follow so that they would be able to do that.
Consistency is key there. So when you take your dog out to potty, that's all they get to do. It's not playtime, it's not sniff time, it's just potty. If they don't actually eliminate the first time you take them out, you can bring them in the house for 5 minutes and then try again until they do.
And lastly, we've received lots of questions about problem barking. One viewer asks, Victor, I've tried nearly everything, but my dog barks at anything he sees moving while at home. When he sees another dog, a person, all of the training that I have worked on seems to disappear, and he barks until I physically remove him from the window or door. Please help.
Another common problem. The first step with this is managing your environment. So making sure that you prevent opportunities for your dog to practice that barking behavior. So you can get frosted glass adhesive from Home Depot and put that on the windows so they can't see out, but you can still have your light. Or just regular blinds or drapes work. Keep the door closed. Just chances to make sure that your dog is not going into that mode where they get that high level response, which creates a bunch of stress in their system. You want that to be kind of out of there before you start to train it. And then from there, there's a cue that you can teach that will teach your dog to, instead of responding, to come over to you. And Fran's going to tell you more about that.
Yes, my 10-year-old lab, who likes to lay in the window because the warm air comes in and the sunlight comes in, sometimes has developed this habit of barking at cars and kids that pass. So I trained a cue for her, and it's called pass. And when she hears the cue, she stops barking, she gets up and she comes to me and she gets a treat. And how we did that was I would get up next to her when she would be laying there, and she would see something go by. She would start to bark, and I would say pass and give her a treat. And then gradually I moved farther and further away from her so that she had to turn and come to me. And now I can be on the other side of the house and say, Molly, pass! And she'll get up and come to me and stop barking.
Wonderful. Thanks, guys. That was some great stuff. Can you please tell our viewers more about the services you offer and how they can reach you?
Sure, we can help people with anything ranging from basic obedience and pet dog manners through advanced obedience, problem solving for behaviors like barking or house soiling, all the way into behavior modification for more complex issues. We also cover adoption counseling and CGC testing, which Fran's going to tell you more about.
For adoption counseling, we will work with you to find a dog that's best suited for your household, your lifestyle, and the types of things you want to do with your dog. That includes a dog coming into your household as the only dog or being introduced to an existing pack. For CGC, both Stephanie and I are AKC, the American Kennel Club, certified evaluators for this Canine Good Citizen test. So we can structure a program to train your dog in those skills so that they can pass that test, which is kind of an honor. It's actually a title for any dog, not just a pedigree dog. So an AKC title of CGC, and we can help you get there.
Excellent. Can you remind our viewers how to reach you again, please?
Sure. Our website is www.positivepros.com. You can also call us at 203-530-0122. We're on Facebook. It's facebook.com/positivepros and twitter.com/positivepros also.
Thanks. And finally, we leave you with Missa Minnie, a 7-month-old Yorkie puppy who is incredibly smart and has been trained to do some truly awesome things. We hope you have enjoyed the 3rd episode of our dog show. And don't forget to share this podcast with your friends and family and any dog lover. See you next time.
Close the door. Good.
Woo!